poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
Co-host of the show. Let me just say, Ben, you came in real hot on that. What's poppin', everybody?
You think I had like an extra bit of flair today?
I think you were throwing some heat, man.
I feel like you're also on your game today.
You think so?
You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because you were just like co-host here, and then you immediately dove into something. It was
I
like
even found a way to say the intro.
You were like ready and super psyched. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm ready.
Here we
I'm
go.
doing
We're
it.
rolling.
The thing is, though, okay, I got a really fantastic piece of feedback in the Popcorn Culture email over the weekend where somebody was like, "Hey Ben, how about this? How about this? Let him be the co-host, but you are the master host."
Oh no! What are we doing here?
The master host.
Master host.
And I was like, yes. Yeah.
Oh my
That just played
goodness.
into my vanity extremely well.
Okay, I'm not going to let that slide. I think we're just both co-hosts of the show. But something that our dad used to have to do a lot when we were growing up was MC a lot of events.
Yes, he did. This was like one of those things that I think maybe was so common growing up that like it didn't maybe like fully register that not everyone's parents like were doing that.
Right.
You know, like it was like we would go and we would run a 5K like with the family. And then like our dad was the guy who was like up, you know, in front of the thing reading off the awards.
Right. Because typically, you know, the TV station he worked for was one of the sponsors for the run. And as part of their obligation, they had to provide on-air talent to do the award ceremony at the end.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, he was the MC. And what do you think MC stands for, or is otherwise how it is otherwise spelled?
Is it not just the letters MC?
Well, see, this is where I got confused because I always understood MC to mean Master of Ceremonies.
Okay,
and that's the M and the C.
I didn't have that as like a piece of information to pluck off the top of my brain.
Yeah.
But now that you say it, I did know it somewhere.
Right.
Like it's one of those memories that hasn't like faded into like a gray cloud of dust with Bing Bong.
Right.
It's like,
Yes.
It's like maybe down there, but it's
there.
not. It's not gone yet.
I know MC now. Just got something right back up to HQ.
Right up to HQ.
Someone's
they're like,
looking at it. They're like, yeah, MC. We learned this.
Right.
But okay, so then I always was like, yeah, MC stands for Master of Ceremonies, but I've seen it spelled out before, EMCEE, as like its own word,
an actual
like
abomination.
Like it has transcended Master of Ceremonies and has just become you're the MC.
That is the abominable snowman of words.
I agree. I don't like that at all. I think M period C period.
Hard
like
stop.
if you're MCing an event.
Yeah, you're doing the letters.
Yeah, you're doing the letters. You haven't become this EMCEE.
That would be like if you're at your wedding and you hire someone to play music and that person was the DEEJAY.
That's exactly what, oh my gosh, what a fantastic parallel.
Thank you.
Yeah. DEEJAY. Yeah, this is our DJ.
It's our DJ.
I'm afraid not.
Yeah, no. That's unacceptable in every manner of the way. Actually, speaking of words, we committed some horrific acts of pluralism in one of our recent episodes.
Of pluralism?
Of pluralism. And we were sent a message from one Andrew, I believe last name spelled K-U-K-O-R.
Way to maybe mess up a name in the middle of explaining how we messed up other words.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I expect follow-up from Andrew on this very thing, being like, here is the phonetic pronunciation of my last name. But there were a couple of things that we did incorrectly, and he felt like if it was not corrected ASAP, it was gonna really become a problem.
Is that AYSAP?
Oh, I see what you're doing there. I do. Like you're like spelling out ASAP like way too long. Also ridiculous. I would be furious if I saw somebody do that. But the first one, and I did not know this, and I'm sure plenty of people do it. It's like, that's not a fun fact, but I thought that it was, is Lego.
Okay, what about Lego?
Lego is the plural.
Lego, oh, it's like deer.
It's like deer.
Yeah.
It's like, and I believe we were talking about your son and Mega Bloks and the acceptable age range in which you are allowed to have Mega Bloks before you need to.
Wait, is it Mega Bloks or Mega Block?
Let's go with Mega Block.
Okay. If Lego is just Lego, then Mega Block must just be Mega Block.
It's the only way for my brain to.
Unless the brand name is literally Mega Bloks, in which case, even were it but a singular Mega Bloks, you'd say, "Can you hand me that Mega Bloks?" right? Is it backwards?
I see what you're saying.
Oh.
It could be backwards, and that is almost
gosh.
better. So
Hold
like
on.
if you need it, I love that. I'm
looking it up.
That is a better explanation for it. So if you have a single brick, it is a megablocks.
A single, okay. The logo for Megablocks is MEGABLOKS. So as far as I'm concerned, a singular brick of Megablocks toys, you would still say, can you hand me that Megablocks? But if you needed a pile of Lego, you'd say, can you hand me all of those Lego?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
We have learned what? Interesting.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it is, this feels like the exact right way.
It does.
To like really like stick it to the cubular man.
It sounds very much like whoever came second was like, no. I'm fixing your mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but no. But Andrew was like, "Here's the thing: like people say Legos all the time, but it is nowhere. Nowhere will you see Legos like the actual. It's kind of like one of those Mandela effects where I think people think the brand name is Legos.
Oh,
but it's not. It's just Lego.
It is
just Lego.
It's just Lego.
Interesting. And it is also the plural.
Yeah.
Plural. So there was that, and then the other one is one of it's a popcorn culture favorite word, and we stumbled into a tiny little oopsie daisies. It's the word phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, but the plural of phenomenon is not phenomenons.
No,
it's phenomena.
It's phenomena.
Yeah, so it's actually one of those like rare examples where the plural version is actually fewer letters than the singular version of it.
That is surprising. It's like more efficient and means more.
Yes.
So the phenomena. Okay.
Phenomenon. Does anyone else do that?
I think I try to avoid that jingle at all costs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because of the horrible earworminess of it.
It is aggressive.
It is so annoying. And the problem is it's not one, it's like the phenomena. Like you gotta, like once you hear it, like I always have to say the whole thing out loud in the voice.
Oh, I see. Like that's the only way to like remove it.
Yeah.
This is, I have always struggled with this when something gets stuck in my head, which for me is just at all times, basically like Christmas songs. So anybody who works with us can confirm that like it'll be like July 3rd and I will be like whistling Jingle Bells, and it's just sort of like, but it's not just Jingle Bells. It's like a variety of other Christmas songs. And it's just like, I don't know. I constantly go to these.
There's a weird effect with Christmas songs because where other music that you like, pop music is always changing, and like what's the hot song right now will change, and like next March a different song will be the most popular song.
Yeah, sure.
Next December you're gonna listen to the same 50 songs again. Like around Christmas time there's only like 50 Christmas songs.
I see what you're saying. Like, so like year in, year out, you are consistently coming back to the same songs.
Right.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Right.
It's very rare for a new Christmas song to be added to like this is now a part of the core lineup of like well-known songs.
Right. Like, and not that new versions don't become popular, but they're still the same songs.
Right.
It's not like next year you're going to have a new version of Taylor Swift's, latest popular songs. Just that one's going to be old. There will be new songs. So every year, all the other music shuffles around, but Christmas music is like, no. Every year you will continue to get the same 50 songs from us. And so like year in, year out, of course, it almost makes sense that of course that's always in your head because it's not really that long, especially a lot of people start listening in, pre-December, and some people like through the new year to Christmas songs. I mean, that's over every 12 years, you've basically spent about a year listening to Christmas music.
Goodness gracious. When you look at it like that, that's kind of absurd.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, maybe it's no surprise then these particular songs. It's like, guys, these are the classics. I listen to these songs every year.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
you want to talk about classic 80s rock bands, whatever. These songs they've stood the test of time.
And that's the thing. Oh my gosh. I remember in high school, I think I was ahead of the curve on realizing this. Like this was, I mean, I talk about it all the time, like that idea of what is popular now that like way in the future will have stood the test of time and like is still relevant or like was a notable art piece.
Yeah.
The same is true. Like I remember going to high school with like, you know, that sort of group of guys who were like really, really, really particular that like the best music is like AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Metallica, Nirvana, these are this is music,
right?
Like this is what it means to understand music. Black Sabbath, you know, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, you know, it's really funny because like this is all music like from before any of these guys were born for the most part. Like this stuff predates you entirely. So what it probably means is that like your parents were the ones that likely introduced it to you because it probably was the relevant music to them as they were sort of going through that like very formative time of their life, like where music is attached to you.
Right.
In the same way that I feel like 90s music is very attached like to me. Like in a lot of ways I look at 90s music as like that was kind of like my childhood. Like, you know, you've got like, you know, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Green Day, like Linkin Park, you know, like a lot of those types of bands. And I remember thinking at the time, like, it'll be interesting because I bet someday people will refer to those bands as like, now this is real music because it will be like the music that has now stood the test of time again and predates them entirely.
Right.
You know, so if you were born in the 2000s, then like you weren't alive like during like the peak of whatever.
Britney and NSYNC and stuff.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And so, I mean, there's probably a little bit of a difference if you were to like really delve into, and I'm sure Ethan, our editor, who's like a big audiophile, is going to be like maybe pulling his hair out, but maybe not. Sometimes I underestimate or overestimate. I don't even know what the right way to describe this would be. Sometimes I'm wrong about how Ethan will react to some of my takes on music.
Okay.
But I think there's probably something technically, if you were to go into the music as to like what is more complicated, what is a better expression of the art itself.
Yeah, it's so weird because music is often so tied to like the you know, whatever is in part of the social zeitgeist of the day.
Oh, good word.
Oh, thank you. And so, you know, a lot of like rock music is like, you know, against the man. And it's like, I think that was part of the period of the 80s. And like, that's sort of what like rock music embodies. And that was the spirit of like the people then. And then it's just like, that's not what people care about right now. So of course the rock music can't be the same sort of thing.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
Plus like the sort of intersection of like technology and music at that time, whereas like today you have like tons of electronic sort of sounds in a lot of popular songs, whereas back then it was like very much using instruments on stage sort of thing.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the thing is too, is that it's like, just because you were able to manipulate more like digital sounds doesn't make you any less of a musical artist. It's just
it's just a different skill.
It's a different skill. It's a different kind of instrument. And I think that there's certainly a lot of nostalgia that always goes back to that sort of like very core analog version of like the physical instrument itself. And like what that represents in terms of like your musical mastery.
Yeah.
Whatever. But okay, well, this actually segues really nicely into a conversation that I think is just so interesting myself, but in the same vein as sort of like what music is the type of music that each generation might regard as like the real stuff, is what will our generation, like as we age through life, what will it look like for retirement for us? Because like right now, I at any given point in time, I am 150% sure that our Grandpa Jack is not playing Xbox.
Oh yeah, like, that's not a thing.
He is not PC gaming. He's not playing Minecraft on his days off. I am so absolutely certain that is not how he is using his downtime. But we are part of a generation that will have grown up, you know, with video games, and there's constantly like, you know, you were a kid through a portion of it where basically like you might be looking at Christmas and birthdays for the potential to get new video games. Like your ability to expand your experience with it is very limited by like effectively what your parents will buy you for the most part. I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
maybe barring like free gaming that is available, because I'm pretty sure like Fortnite is free. It's like the most popular game ever. Anyway, but moving on from that, though, you sort of like age up into this period of time, like where maybe you do have money, but then like maybe like less time. And so like now you could go out and buy a console if you want to, but you also have to just like go to work all day.
Yeah.
And so what I'm so curious about, and video games is just a very strong, I think, relatable example of this particular idea, but it is like, what will retirement look like for us? Because I could so imagine there being this like massive gaming community that just absolutely erupts in a way that is like otherwise unprecedented throughout history, which is us, our generation, reaching the age 65, 70, somewhere in that range. And all of a sudden, you've just got this huge wave of people who have loved video games their whole life, who now have financial access likely to most of those games, and
tons of free time.
Yeah. Like, is there an argument to be made for like the potential for most pro gamers to actually come like from senior citizen status?
Right. I can totally see a situation where something like that happens, and it's just like this very weird like switch up, because you're like, the only thing that really holds me back on that is that who knows what the technology will look like in another 30 years. Like, will it be sitting in front of a TV with a controller? Will it be sitting there with a mouse and keyboard? Or will it be so deep into VR that you've grown so like you've the technology has outpaced your ability to adapt to it, and you're just like stuck in your ways.
And that is an extremely good example too. Yeah, because and again, like going back to like our Grandpa Jack for an example, like I would be willing to bet that all of the things that he is now doing in his retirement are extremely different from like what his grandfather did in his retirement.
I would agree with that as well. But this is another thing though, is that I don't think even if that's true, even if the technology has outpaced it, a thing about video games that's always true is the like nostalgia factor. Like retro gaming is sort of always in.
Okay.
And so I can see a situation where there's like a renaissance of, Xbox and PS4 and, Nintendo Switch at some point in the future, where all of like the consoles of your youth are now like, you're still able to play those games and be really good at them.
Yes.
Because like some games, even from the 80s are still just really popular. They still have like professional tournament. You can go to a Street Fighter 2 tournament, today.
Sure. We're like you're literally talking about like a super dated game. I mean, for that matter, I think you and I talk about like Diablo a lot, which is a game that I consistently go back to, despite the fact that it is certainly aged past its prime.
For now.
One of the other mind-blowing things to me about us having that conversation is we were reflecting on the release of Diablo 3 back in 2012, and the mental realization that next year is 2022, and it will have been 10 years since that game came out.
Oh, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so in a lot of ways, and it's very possible there's still a robust community of people playing that particular game. I don't know. But in a lot of ways, like that itself is becoming a rather like dated thing. And in my mind, it feels like it's so recent.
It just came out.
Yeah, it just came out. It just like, I think that there's been like talk of like people are like, do you think there will be a Diablo 4? And I'm like, Diablo 3 just can't, guys, look, come on, let's give it a minute.
No, in the same announcement where they announced the Diablo 2 remastering, they also announced Diablo 4.
No, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do know that. I'm aware of that information. But the for me, it feels so rushed. It's like, oh, was Diablo 3 that big of a flop that they were like, we got to get 4 out like as soon as possible. We need to put this in our past.
Yeah, no, it's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years. It's like,
oh, okay.
Well,
That being said, it felt like when we were kids, like the idea of Diablo 3 coming out was like, it's going to be ready next year. And then it was like, actually, it's not going to be ready until 2012. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it took forever. That was the other thing. It felt like Diablo 3 got pushed back and back and back.
It was highly anticipated.
And then not what we were expecting.
Not what we were expecting.
Still a fun game, but not a great recreation of Diablo 2, which is what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is what we're getting.
Eventually, the people watching us are going to be like, guys, we get it. We're going to have to add Diablo 2 reference to the
to the bingo card.
To the bingo card for sure. That has to be.
That has to be in there.
Anyway, let's take a transition now because I feel like we gotta get away from Diablo 2. People are like, we've heard it, we've been there, guys. We know how you feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Also from Andrew, who had sent us our corrections about pluralities.
Okay.
Was a corny joke.
Is plurality is the right word?
I keep saying it.
Yeah.
And I love it actually.
Plurality.
I mean, I think it's probably like plurals.
Plurality has its own meaning.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So am I just using effective like the wrong word entirely?
Right. So
does it mean like the side of a barn?
So
that's a plurality.
No, a plurality is like it's like the majority when there's not a majority. So like if you had a situation where you had a vote between 4 people or something and 40% of the vote went to one person and then 30 and then 20 and then 10, like no one has a majority, right? Because no one's over 50.
Right.
But the person with the 40% has the plurality.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, you learn something new every day.
There you go. I learned that in freshman year math at Radford University, and I was like, this is one of the best words I've ever learned. I love that this
core memory.
This is great.
Stays in headquarters.
I don't know about that.
At all times.
Oh my gosh, this is one of those like what's a memory that lives rent free in your brain that like embarrasses you. My first day of this math class, I feel such shame about it because I arrived at this class and it was like the first week of school or something, and I am like sitting there. And even though like the way I understood it was that like Tuesday, Thursday classes are like 90-minute classes because you only go twice a week.
Sure.
And then your Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes are like regular 45-minute classes or something.
Sure.
Because you're there for 3 days a week.
Right.
Or whatever. Right. So this was on, I think it was on a Wednesday. So in my mind this should be a short class, but instead it was actually a 90-minute class.
Okay.
So, but I didn't know that. So I get in there and this guy is going on. He's just like a very kind of dull teacher. No offense. I don't know who you are anymore. But I was just like bored out. I was like very bored in the class. I hadn't learned about pluralities yet.
Yeah.
And it gets to be like 5 minutes after 45 minutes into the class, I'm like, okay, you can dismiss us now. And, suddenly it's like 10 minutes later and then 15 minutes. I'm like getting like angry.
It's like wrap it up.
Dude, you are keeping the whole class here forever. And I was like, I feel like I was noticeably like making like just like angry. I was emanating anger into the classroom, and I feel like people could feel it. I feel like people were like noticing like this guy, he's getting frustrated about something. I don't know what's going on over there.
I don't know why he's so mad.
Yeah.
Like, guy's just trying to explain what a plurality is.
No.
Let him get there. It will be worth it. Rest assured.
I remember just leaving, just thinking like, I could not believe he held the class for like an entire extra hour or something.
Yes. You by the end of it, you must have been like. What just happened?
Like, what is going on?
Why is nobody else outraged?
Exactly. That was the thing. I was like, why is no one else like saying anything? Why is no one like freaking out about this? And I'm like, I don't know. And then it was like one of those things where like later on, quickly, maybe the next day or 2 days later, I realized that I was just completely wrong. The class is just long.
Right.
And it was just one of those like, you leave feeling so self-righteous and so like, I am so right about this and my anger is so justified. And you're just like, no, I was very wrong. And you're like grasping at any situation where like, can I spin this into correct to me not being in the wrong? No, I was wrong in every direction here. And it just, I feel so bad for like I feel like at a few points he like looked up at me or something and I was just sitting there like on my desk. Like I've got like my backpack on my desk. Like I'm ready to, let's go.
Right. Yes. Oh my God. I cannot even begin to imagine this because you always seem like such a good student.
I mean, I did very well in the class.
Not to brag.
Not to brag or anything, but I still remember what pluralities are.
There we go. Here we are. Like how many years later? This is 2006.
Yeah.
So like 15 years.
Yeah.
Look, I'm so impressed.
Wow.
That's like basically it's a plurality of your life.
But sometimes I don't think so.
Well, it's not a majority of your life, so I mean.
No, but yeah, it's just a minority then, right?
No,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
That's a good point.
Yeah, because the majority would be the remaining years that are between.
I'll get it eventually.
Okay.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. How about now for a corny joke as a nice, happy little transition?
Okay.
Okay. So again, this one comes from Andrew, who reminded us about plurals. His question was, what should you sell a dead battery for?
What should you sell a dead battery for?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you could get almost anything for a dead battery.
You're almost exactly correct.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's free of charge.
Because battery is charge. Yeah, I got it. It's free of charge. This is hilarious.
Thank you so much, Andrew. If you guys want to
sell a
offer
dead-
any submissions for the corny joke each week, you can do that by emailing them to popcornculturepod@gmail.com or finding us over on Reddit. I do appreciate them. All of the recommendations. I think I'm just going to exclusively pull these from the audience going forward.
Yeah.
So it's been making things much, much easier. Moving out of that into everybody else's next favorite segment, a fun fact about coyotes.
I noticed that you're wearing a coyote T-shirt.
You know, we won last night.
Yeah, yeah. You were the boys.
Okay, so after
Were you watching?
I was not watching. Actually, you told me about it. After the discovery that there is in fact an NHL team, the Coyotes, the very first thing that I did was promptly go to like the NHLshop.com or something and bought a Coyotes t-shirt and was like, boom. It showed up and Alice was just like, what is this?
Like, what isn't? This is life.
This must have been a mistake. And I was like, Alice, this is Coyotes.
This is my team.
Yeah, this is the boys.
You don't know? You don't know. Okay. I'm a long time Arizona Coyote fan.
I need to learn a player's name.
You do.
I need to learn one.
I'm gonna look up a player right now.
Are you really?
We can identify.
Watch you pull like a player from the Rangers or something, and I go on to try to get a jersey for that one year that Wayne Gretzky played for the Coyotes.
That would be
That's not a real fact.
Amazing. I don't. Yeah. Or is it bad? No. Here we go. Present Arizona Coyote right wing Phil Kessel.
Man, you know what? I've been thinking it for years though. Phil Kessel is in line for MVP.
I will say in this photo he's wearing what looks like a Pittsburgh Penguin jersey, so I'm thinking maybe he got transferred and is only a recent addition to the team.
Well, that's because he's so good.
Who's the you know what? Goaltender is always a good. Let's see. Darcy Kemper.
Kemper and Kessel.
There you go, Kemper and Kessel.
It's that it's the alliterative nature that makes them such a dynamic duo.
Exactly.
Despite the fact that one is an offensive player and one is a goalie.
You know, someone's got to feed the right wing, and that's got to be, based on their, not necessarily. I think they're 14 and 14 at the moment. So
hey, I mean, 50-50 is not bad.
50-50. It's not a majority or a minority.
It's not. It's an equalizer.
It's an equalizer. You got to think though, if you're a historically losing team, your goaltending. That guy's having he's having a big day every day.
Big day every day.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or a big loss. I don't know.
Well, anyway, fun fact about Coyotes. Here we go.
Yeah. What was the fun fact?
So the interesting thing about this one is that it's actually not directly a fun fact about Coyotes themselves, but we were having a conversation one day about whether or not there could be like a white coyote out in the wild, like one that specifically maybe like lives in
Like the Arctic coyote.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like lives in the tundra, so to speak.
Yeah.
An area of the world I mostly know from playing a different computer game growing up called Tiberian Sun.
Tiberian Sun. Great. Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun.
It was actually an enormous
Nod
amount
versus
of fun.
GDI. Fantastic.
Your brain and ability to remember things it never ceases to amaze.
Oh, man. I've tried to find that game again, like on Steam. It's not there. I want to play. I would love to play it.
I know.
It'd be fun just to go revisit it.
We could stream it.
Oh, we could stream. Like, would we play against each other? You think?
No, definitely not. We're in the same
Okay.
team.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's how it works.
Okay.
We're the Coyotes.
We're the Coyotes.
Yes. Okay. So I was trying to find out if there is in fact white coyotes and where they may live and if there was any like special circumstances about them. And it actually took me down a different path that was equally as fascinating. So I'm going to credit coyotes with this discovery, which is what is referred to as spirit bears.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Spirit bears.
Spirit bears.
As in bears. beats Battlestar Galactica.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so the very interesting thing about spirit bears
Connect some dots for me here.
Yeah. Okay, so spirit bears, they live in kind of like an area of Canada that is like forested, but they are completely white bears.
Okay. So when you say spirit bears, you're talking about this is a physical bear.
This is a physical bear.
It's a physical spirit bear.
It's a physical spirit bear.
Physical spirit bear is a type of white bear that lives in Canada.
It is a type of black bear that is white.
Okay.
Which I think is like part of what makes it so very interesting.
Okay.
Is that it is a black bear, but these are like a specific strain of the black bear that is white. So it's like, it's not even, it is a black bear. It is white. It is not a polar bear. It is a spirit bear.
Okay.
That is all the clarifiers.
Okay.
So it's very
I've
interesting.
never heard of spirit bears.
I know that I hadn't either. That's why I'm telling you about it right now.
Amazing.
So what's so cool about it though, when you see pictures of them, there's like, it's like this like white bear just like in like thicket, like when you see polar bears, you see them usually like in snow, tundra, like we were saying before, where you typically expect that type of thing where, it helps them survive by camouflage.
But so where the spirit bear lives is not like typically icy? It's not typically white?
No.
Interesting.
And so that's the thing. So there's like a lot of there's like a lot of spiritual connections to these bears. And the one that I thought that was the most interesting is that legend has it that the Raven, the creator, made every 10th black bear on one island white as a reminder of the last ice age, which was 10,000 years ago. It's also, according to native legends, that spirit bears could swim deep underwater and lead people to magical places.
Well, this sounds... I mean, we gotta meet some bears.
Like, if your
1 in 10 sounds way too high.
It does seem kind of high. It does seem kind of high, but like, it would still be kind of a remarkable thing to run into an actually just like white bear.
Yeah, that wasn't a polar bear.
That wasn't a polar bear.
Yeah,
which would also be a very interesting thing to do as long as you're like from a safe distance. Like
yeah, right. Yeah, as I understand it, polar bear is kind of vicious.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, I thought that this was just something. It was so fascinating to me that this existed. I never knew it, and now I need to learn more and investigate more about spirit bears. Because if a spirit bear is your spirit animal, it's like such a good.
So like now, maybe let me ask: is it the case that like spirit bears reproduce with each other, or is it just that like when black bears are reproducing, sometimes one's white?
That's a very good question.
Okay.
I believe that a spirit bear could reproduce with a black bear, like without there being any like unusualness about like they persist. Is that the right word? Yeah, like they continue to be. So somehow, some way that is the case that it is happening. But it seems like like they're also not referring to them as albino.
Right. It's not like albino.
It's not like an albino black bear, which would be white.
It's
like there's like a enough of a steady occurrence of these that they are like a known thing to exist.
So like, I guess I'm wondering like if two spirit bears mate, do you end up with a third spirit bear, or could you just get regular black bear again? Muggle bear.
Muggle bear.
A muggle bear.
Non-magic bears.
Non-magic bears, exactly.
That's a incredible. We'll circle back.
Yeah.
We'll circle back. If anybody out there knows more about spirit
squibs, as it were.
Squib
bears. We're getting there.
We're getting there. Anyway, but if people in the future are like, what is your spirit animal? I now authorize you and encourage you to say spirit bear.
My spirit animal is a spirit bear.
Do you mean bear? And you'd be like, no, I mean spirit bear. And
right.
You'd be like, well, it's a spirit animal. You don't have to like add the spirit yourself.
No, it's like a spirit
it's
bear.
Like, let me assure you, you don't understand the magic of the spirit bear. And now I'm going to tell you all about it.
Right. You thought you were going to lure me into a conversation about spirit animals, and instead I'm going to trap you into a conversation about spirit bears.
There's nothing better.
Yeah.
This is like universal advice. So like I always tell people, if you like want to,
it's a spirit bear trap.
It's a spirit bear trap. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love it. I always tell my advice to everybody is if you want to like communicate with people that you don't know, it's always great to compliment their shoes. It's like a very personal thing that every single person wears every single day for the most part. And it's like such a like people feel honored if you're like, I love those shoes. And so it's like the thing is that very frequently I do love the shoes.
Yeah.
And so it's not like me saying, or no, it is exactly like when I say, good question. I'm so surprised you asked.
Yeah.
I truly mean that.
Right.
And the same thing. So like if I compliment your shoes, I'm not just saying it because it is like an easy way to like, communicate with another human being.
It's my advice for you to have an easy way to communicate, but I only mean it.
Precisely. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Mine, if I compliment your shoes, you earned it. If other people, you gotta be leery of them.
You gotta.
They might have just heard. They might be listeners of the pop.
They could be. They could be. Yeah. And then you'll know. But that's also a nice tell. It's like, love your shoes. Someone says that to you, and you're like, hold up. If I were to say pop, what would that mean to you? And they would be like, the one true host. And they'd be like, we're instant best friends.
Yeah.
This is all working out so well. I'm so excited for these people. Like, what could be better than helping two people become friends? Very exciting. But the other piece of advice that I can now freely give to the world is that when asked your spirit animal, you should say spirit bear.
Spirit bear.
And then explain what a spirit bear is.
What a spirit bear is.
Anyway, now a fun fact about coyotes, because I couldn't
we just keep going.
I couldn't not have a fun fact about coyotes. And this particular one was submitted to me by Julia, who is from Texas. But it is a baby coyote is called a whelp.
A whelp?
A whelp.
Whelp.
With I appreciate that you recognize the H.
Oh, I could hear it.
Yeah. It's a whelp.
It's a whelp.
A whelp.
It sounds like the sound they make.
Yeah, it sort of does.
Those baby coyotes are sort of whelping over there.
Yeah. It also reminds me of the word like whelp, like as if you're like whelp.
That's more. Is that not more of a WELP?
That is more of a WELP,
okay.
but I still like the word all the same.
Right. Yeah.
They're in the same like side of the well Venn diagram. Different ways of saying well.
Yeah.
They're both over there with like whelp.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So anyway. Fun fact about coyotes.
Very fun. That's very fun. It occurs to me now that we're bringing up Arizona Coyote players and stuff. It feels to me like a place that is in desperate need of some GMA stickers has got to be the home ice of the Arizona Coyotes.
It does seem like amongst the
there
most
must
fitting.
be some people in Arizona with season ticks who listen to the pop, or at least who can at least go to a game.
Surely.
Right.
Surely. So there you go. Bingo card. That's
did we say Shirley?
I think I say Shirley a lot. But okay, so that is a mission to send out into the universe is if you have one of the GMA stickers that you can and should place it somewhere at the Arizona Coyotes locale.
Do you think it's at all possible we could get a GMA sticker into the Arizona Coyotes locker room? Ben,
I don't know if there's anything that I want more in life.
That it feels. I think the little colonels can make this happen.
Guys,
someone can make this happen.
The 6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody is like, that's the right phrase?
Yeah.
So everybody's like not that far. We've talked about it before, like with like people who are on like The Bachelor. It's like surely someone listening is related to someone who's been on The Bachelor.
Somebody listening knows someone who plays for the Arizona Coyotes.
Professional hockey for the Arizona Coyotes.
Exactly.
Right. And all we need to do is to get them a sticker, and they need to take a picture of it, and then get the official Arizona Coyotes Instagram page to then share it. I'm just kidding. We
now we're aiming high.
You know what I always say? Shoot for the stars, maybe you'll hit the moon.
Exactly.
So I think like goal set. Now anything close to that will feel like a win.
Exactly. There we go.
Right.
We can do it.
We got this.
Excellent.
But on the note of the GMA stickers, we do have a quarterly contest where we invite you to participate and then take pictures of the random and cool locations where you have maybe stuck your particular sticker. And with that, we will then determine 4 winners per year who will win basically their very own Stanley Duck trophy.
Duck. Let me just tell you, we were speaking with our office manager, Jordan, our Jane of all trades, about trophies this week, and we are in the process of commissioning the official Stanley Duck, which will live here on the table next to me.
Yes, and if you win, your name will be forever engraved into the
Stanley Duck.
The physical trophy that is like here in our space.
Here in the space.
Yes.
But even better, you will also get sent your own personal handmade trophy by Ben Carlin.
It's true.
Yeah.
True. I'm
co-host of the show.
Hey now, master host of the show. I am like going to be making the trophies that go out to the selected winners each quarter forged from my own two bare hands.
Spirit bare hands?
Yes.
Yes.
Spirit bare
Spirit
hands.
bare hands.
Precisely. So you will know that like the very thing Ben has created for you out there. And I hope that you like it, because I will have put, I was going to say blood, sweat, and tears into it. And then I was like, that sounds really unsanitary.
Yeah. This is got,
I will have, let me amend. I will have not put any blood, sweat, or tears into it. Not a single drop.
Not a single drop.
That's how much
there will be none of Ben's bodily fluids on in your trophy.
That is the level of effort that I am putting into these, and we officially have our very first winner that we're excited to pronounce tonight.
Oh, tonight?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
To include now in this ever sacred club, where you will be immortalized into the Stanley Duck Trophy.
The inaugural winner, the inaugural name that will go on to the official Stanley Duck.
You could say it.
Oh, I can say it.
Look at you go, co-host. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Gotta give you something to do.
Congratulations to Anna, aka SCB fan, who placed their GMA sticker oh so cleverly on a KFC sign. Big chicken.
Big chicken.
As ever, if this was such a well thought out and inclusive, like, inside joke to the pop.
It's very multi-layered, and it goes back to one of the very first episodes of the pop where we call out Big Chicken.
Where we had beef with Big Chicken.
Beef with Big Chicken.
That's right. Well, now Big Chicken's about to have duck with us, I guess. I don't know.
They may just.
Yeah.
They may just. So anyway, congratulations, Anna. I will be constructing your trophy in the coming days. So
indeed.
I hope that you are excited to now be a part of popcorn culture history.
You will be basically on the set forever. The inaugural one. This is another fun thing. I didn't learn this in math class, but another little tidbit I learned in college, that it's like one of my like actuallys. Like that.
Oh no! Do you actually?
I don't. This is one. Or I feel like sometimes I do. I'm like, actually, which you'd think I would do a lot, because we do a lot of fandom stuff, and fandom stuff is ripe with actuallys.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
This is mine. It's about the word inaugural.
Okay.
Okay. Inaugural is the first time it happens.
Okay.
So the phrase, anytime you see the phrase, the first annual, Roanoke County Strawberry Festival or something.
Oh, sure.
That's inaccurate. It's not. There are no first annuals. It's just inaugural.
There's no such thing.
It's not annual until the second time.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, but even with the intention of recurring nature.
Intent means nothing until the second one has happened.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
So you're very passionate about this.
Inaugural.
So if you were to go to the first annual Roanoke Strawberry Film Festival, I'm going with it.
All of these movies are about fruit.
Yes, the Strawberry Film Festival. It is a delightful place to go.
That's right.
Although there is a horror segment that gets a little bit graphic.
It's very graphic.
Oh, that was so good.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so impressed. So impressed. Where am I going with this? So, would you not wear the commemorative T-shirt if it said first annual?
I would. Boy,
Strawberry Film Festival.
Look, I would definitely point it out to people and be like, actually.
You would actually.
Oh yeah, totally.
Would you do it to like the volunteers who are just giving their wonderful energy to this particular event? Like walk up to them and be like, actually.
I don't think I would go out of my way to do it. But if someone was wearing it, they were like, I was over the first annual, and I'd be like, did you know?
Did you know? Okay. So the real question is okay, so Alice was telling me a story the other day, and this is, I think I can make this segue. We'll see how well it works. Where she ran into someone that she knew while she was picking something up at a Walmart. And while she was inside of that moment, the person immediately went into a story about how their dog was being neutered and had like a very specific set of circumstances around it. And I was like, that is like a very quick jump to that particular topic. Like to the point where I'm like, this is not small talk. You know, like this is not like you run into that person, you know, and you're like, hey, how are you? What are you up to? Like, yeah, you know.
Right.
Kids are doing great, whatever. Like, you know, there's like the typical exchange that you may go to. This is like, hey, how are you? It's like, oh, my dog's being neutered. And it's like, whoa, okay, we could,
let's talk about that.
But when she told me about it, I was like, this is so interesting because I'm like, I wonder if this is so top of mind for this person that it is something where every person that they ran into that they knew for that like span of time where this was like the top piece of news in their head that they were like, let me tell you about my dog and their situation right now. And it's like, how many times can you be like telling the same story like over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Like in this particular manner. And so I guess as I would tie it back to your situation would be like, if you were going to the first ever first annual Strawberry Film Festival would be like, if you were going from like people to people to people, like if you had like a bunch of different friends that were attending the film festival, like would you actually in each one of those circles where you would like pop in and be like, you guys might not know this, but first annual is not a thing.
I don't imagine it is. I very much am someone who, like, I know this isn't true, but very often I will, like, once I've used up like a story, like if I told you a story about something, I'd be like, well, I can't probably tell anyone else.
Oh, because
you know what I mean?
It's such a thing.
Yeah.
Stumbling in on somebody, catching them in the process of telling a story that you've already been told.
Exactly.
It's like a very like, it's kind of like I got spoilers.
Yeah, I know what's going to happen here.
Right. Yeah. There's something like kind of like off about it.
It's
like,
a little. I mean, if you're that person, if you're the person telling it, it's like this person knows I'm using the story again. Oh my gosh.
I know. They're like
how embarrassing for me.
They are bearing witness. This happens very frequently in the office where like as everybody's rolling in every morning, we'll like be having a conversation about something, and so I like constantly feel like as I know. Like Riley has already heard a story that I've told. It's almost like, oh, I was just talking to Riley about this a few minutes earlier. But like, and then it's almost like that is my authorization to like tell Riley like, yeah, you don't have to pay attention. Like I know you've already heard this story once today, and also sort of like it feels like I'm neutralizing this potential like social faux pas, which is telling the same story again,
right,
in front of someone else,
right?
Because like what would happen if you were at the Strawberry Film Festival and like one of the circles you had already told but actually to actually I got it actually, and then they like walked with you over and they like saw you actually another group.
I see. This is what you don't want to like walk up and like bring it up out of nowhere.
Sure.
You know, I would just have this like locked and loaded. Wait, like if someone was like, man, I really love the shirts, that'd be like, me too.
You just
me
gave me
too.
a window.
Did you know that? Yeah, this is the thing. I'm more of a did you know?
More
than an actually. That's like it's the same thing.
It is.
But it's to me it sounds more polite. It's like I'm helping.
Right.
It's not like I'm actually. You know.
Right.
Yeah, it's not that.
That is very interesting.
So
that's very interesting.
I often find this is a problem I suffer though, is that I will have something I want to say, but I will just like. I'll just put it like on a shelf and be like, I'll just wait for it to come up. And when it does, it's there. But in the meantime, I'm not telling anyone.
I know there is that. And then very frequently, this is another like SCB office-ism is declaring how related the thing that you're about to say is to like what you're about to say. So
yes,
like
this is
every single one of us will be like semi-related or somewhat related or related to that or not related at all.
Yeah, going in a completely different direction.
Yeah. Like so all of us have picked up this exact same habit of like alerting you before I'm about to say the things I'm about to say is how relative this is to the current thing we're talking about.
And yes, but everyone's doing the same thing. It's like they have something they've been wanting to say and they've been waiting for the moment the conversation gets near it. And now that they've decided that tangentially we're close enough and I can whip this off the shelf and be like, okay, this is only sort of related, but I want to talk about this because I've been wanting to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the real big thing here though is that like there is, and I've had both situations. I have had moments where I have had something I wanted to say and I put it on the shelf and if the moment presented itself, then I would pull it off the shelf and then tell you. But I have also totally been that person before who was waiting for their turn to talk. Not frequently, but that has happened where you're almost like, and it's something that I do try to be like very cognitive of, like as it's happening, is like pay attention to what the people in front of you are saying. Like, don't wait for your turn to talk. Like, you just have to like reaffix your attention to the right thing.
I probably need that advice because every now and then I will like have something I want to say about a thing, and the conversation will wander directly towards it. And like as I go to speak up, someone else will interject and they'll start talking, and then someone else will interject and they'll start talking, and all of a sudden we're like 3 miles away from where I wanted you.
Right,
like,
right.
I had a thing I was gonna say, and then you don't want to be like, let's back up a few.
Circling back to what we had
like,
before.
Okay, we already sort of like got rid of that conversation topic, so okay, I guess we'll go back.
Sure. I don't think anybody would actually feel that way, but I completely understand where you're coming from, where it's like, oh, I missed my window.
I know I had it. I've been waiting for like 3 weeks.
3 weeks, just start talking at that point. I don't care if it's out of nowhere. Tell me if you've been waiting for 3 weeks to tell me something. Considering we have so many hours a week recorded just talking to each other anyway.
That's true.
Yeah, don't lock anything up. We can use it. That's material.
I feel like the pop is good for that. Like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this later on the pop. Put it in the notes.
Put it in the notes.
Well, that's almost a guaranteed way not to talk about it sometimes.
I know. We keep elaborate notes week in, week out, and then do not use them almost entirely.
I feel like as we've been talking, another part of CastleCon has presented itself to us, Ben.
Jay, how related is this? Not related at all.
You know, we're going to circle back to it. And that's the Strawberry Film Festival.
Oh, I feel
like at CastleCon we have to have like some sort of Strawberry Film Festival going on.
I absolutely think we should.
It's like the nighttime activity. You know, it's like you guys heading to the Strawberry Film Festival. It's like, yeah, we're gonna watch all 3 Strawberry movies. Okay. Anyone coming to CastleCon could submit their own Strawberry movie.
How important to you is it that the content of the Strawberry Film Festival is strawberry-based cinema?
It only has to be semi-related.
Oh my gosh. maybe that is how those are the categories that you have for the Strawberry Film Festival, is the extent to which they are related to strawberries. So it's like not at all related.
Oh,
this is a film about anything.
Do you know what you sit on to watch the movies here?
What do you sit on?
Straw. Because there's straw everywhere.
Because there's straw. Because one of my key conditions for CastleCon is the presence of straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stand by it though. I think it's really going to be a critical portion of the event. I've also one of the things that I've imagined more and more and more to bring up Name of the Wind for the first time in today's episode is
mark that off your bingo card.
I know. Is at CastleCon I am like, if you want to know how much I like Name of the Wind, I have never cosplayed anything, and there's nothing I want to do more than to cosplay Quoth.
Oh,
like
Quoth, yeah.
Quoth. Like I think I'm leaning towards using the V.
Me too. I use the V. The Quoth.
But this is like, I've actually like looked up, like cloaks.
Yeah.
And stuff
have
like that.
you? With lots of little pockets.
Lots of little pockets sewn in. Yeah. And then I think like inside of the pockets, this is kind of like when actors like use a coffee cup that doesn't have anything in it. It's like part of the effect is like it being real.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if you don't ask me what's in all the tiny little pockets, I will have stuff in the tiny pockets.
Right.
And so maybe now if you've heard this and you're at CastleCon and you see me dressed up as Quoth, you can come up to me and be like, hey, can I get a person card? And it'll be like, in fact, this is one of the very rare ways to get one. I have them in one of my tiny pockets.
Yeah.
Let's pop it out.
Person card.
There you
go.
Made of stainless steel. Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing. Yeah. Have you had that before? Have you ever wanted to cosplay anything?
Have I ever wanted to cosplay anything before? I'm doing the thing where I repeat it back so that I have time to think about it. Yeah, and then I started thinking about how I was doing it, so now it's become less effective.
Let me ask you this question then, because this is part of like one of my hangups with it is like I don't know really how to sew at all, and I'm not like a particularly artistic person, so like I'm not really sure like how much of the cosplay that you're doing is like how much do you have to create yourself versus like, is it okay to like source the things that you're wearing?
Oh, I do not know the rules of the cosplay.
I don't know either. So
I would bet that it's not you ordered a costume.
I think that it's like, yes, I agree that I don't think that you're like cosplaying. Well, I don't mean to like set a bar in terms of like determining. I don't mean to set this for anybody, like to where if this is what you do, like that I'm not saying that is a problem. But I think that, yeah, like in my mind, the first step that I've gone would be that like, it's not like I'm Iron Man. I bought like the Iron Man outfit off of Amazon and I'm cosplaying Iron Man. Like I in my mind, that is sort of more of like I am wearing an Iron Man costume, but on some level, I feel like cosplay is sort of that. So that's where I'm at. Like where I was looking up green cloaks, like for Quoth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if I can, like, is it okay if I didn't make it? Like,
no, I think that's okay.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not like, you know, like an officially licensed, like, this is his jacket. You know, like
right.
his cloak.
Like, I mean, let's say the character you're cosplaying, you know, wears like a black leather jacket, you know.
Right.
You wouldn't feel any that weird at all about just buying a black leather jacket for your cosplay.
I guess that's a good
People
point.
aren't going to be like, did you make that leather jacket?
Right.
But if you went online and bought a costume from that character, and part of that is, this seems like a bad example because it's unlikely that costumes are including leather jackets, but
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I suppose a portion of the cosplay is your interpretation. So it's sort of like by buying like the thing that is made specifically to be the costume, you're buying something that is intended to be that. Whereas a cosplay might be like more, this is how I
like you have reappropriated other things to be this costume.
Yes. But so let me tell you how far this extends to me, because one of the other things that I've been really curious about is like on TikTok, I've seen plenty of people who have like printed, to use Iron Man as an example, like Iron Man outfits on like 3D printers.
Okay.
Where you are like actually printing off like individual pieces of armor that people have actually like designed that you can print and then like sand, paint, assemble together and create an entire like Iron Man suit that you could like walk around in. And the end products are like absolutely outstanding. Like
awesome.
They're really, really, really cool. And this is another one where, I mean, as I'm explaining it even, and I'm realizing how absolutely complex it would be just to successfully go through the process of printing all of these dozens, if not hundreds of pieces, sanding, painting, assembling, all that type of stuff. Like clearly there's enough blood, sweat, and tears going into that, quite literally this time, but not in the Stanley Duck Trophy.
Right.
For sanitation reasons. That the end result, if you made one, even if you didn't design the Iron Man helmet like schematic for the 3D printer to then print, that still counts.
I think totally that would still count. I mean, if you're doing like something like Iron Man, I would almost think even if you just bought an Iron Man helmet, that would be
acceptable.
Okay. I would think. I mean, this is the thing, and I'm sure maybe the more into the cosplay community you are, I'm sure they'll say, if you're in costume at all, that's good enough.
Then
that's great.
Welcome to the club.
That's right. Because it doesn't feel like my guess is that the cosplay community wouldn't be like high barrier to entry.
No, well, I mean, it feels,
it feels like a welcoming place.
It feels like an incredibly welcoming place. And I think that's really like what it comes down to is like any level or form of it that you choose to commit to would probably be like met with nothing but pure enthusiasm.
Right.
But then, I mean, of course, you see people who like are professionals at this and they like go all out and they're very elaborate and stuff. But I suppose you graduate up to that.
I suppose so.
You don't just start there.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. Maybe we'll have a cosplay corner at CastleCon as well.
At Cosplay Corner?
Cosplay Corner.
Everyone is it's just a Quoth cosplay, right? Everyone's Quoth.
Yeah. Can I stipulate that? Like, could that be a rule?
You could have. I mean, you could have maybe it's like you could have a Quoth costume contest if you wanted.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Or it could just be. Yeah, I mean, I encourage anyone to cosplay whatever they want to CastleCon. You know, just to say.
The more the barrier.
The more the barrier. Exactly.
I brought it back to the
Strawberry Film Festival.
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, I feel like we're reaching that segment of the show where we're just completely spiraling into random CastleCon ideas, all of which I think
it's going to be great.
completely wonderful and useful.
Yeah.
kicking off the second quarter of the year, there is an exciting update for those of you who are members of the quarterly exclusive Popcorn Culture Merch Club over on Patreon.
Yeah, that's Jazzy or J or Buzzy or B.
Or neither. if that's your thing.
Yeah, that's your thing.
So round 1 is officially over at this point in time. So Fred the Cups are like the deadline has been met. We are now entering into a new chapter of this process. And
new exclusive item.
I have to tell you that like finding these things, doing these things is probably going to become a new favorite part of my job.
Oh yeah.
Because so we have like there's a prototype being made.
There is.
And there is nothing that is making me more excited than the fact that I can tell people that I'm making a prototype.
And this week we have been incommunicado with the prototypers.
Yes, we have.
Yeah,
yes,
we've been picking out certain aspects of the Q2 exclusive item.
Love the way you danced around it.
Oh, thank you.
So good, good. So guys, as soon as we have more that we can show you, we will have information on that. But never fear, there is an exciting new offering that will be on the table very soon. Otherwise, if you have feedback for the show, you can send that to popcornculturepod@gmail.com. You can find us over on Reddit, which is just r/Reddit. Or no,
r/Reddit. r/popcorn culture.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Where else can they find us?
On Twitter @apopcast.
There you go. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, until next week.
Pop, pop.